Hello, my name is Nicholas, and today we're going to be talking about why the death penalty should be legal throughout the whole United States. While looking for stories of killers that may have gone away with their crime and proceeded to continue to kill even after their release, I found a man that caught my eye and made me wonder, well, how did he get away with these such heinous crimes? John McCrae was 15 years old in 1950 when just an 8-year-old by the name of Joey Halsey went missing in Michigan. Not long after, his body was found mutilated from his throat and his genitals near John McCrae's house. After he was found, a homicide investigation began, and with so much evidence, they found John McCrae guilty of murder and sentenced to life in prison. After 20 years, he was deemed eligible to parole because of his age when he committed to that crime, and good behavior as well helped him. He was released from prison in 1972 and was later in the late 70s a prison guard. During those late 70s in his area, there were three boys missing and never found. For the next few decades, John McCrae was on the run to different states and was suspected of those crimes. Eventually, in 1997, he was arrested for the findings of a skull on his property he used to own, and it matched the DNA of one of those boys that went missing. He was arrested to sentenced to life again without the death penalty, and he was offered immunity to find those bodies. But he said he had nothing to do with the crime, even though he had actually admitted to it to his friend that also investigated him. With clear evidence of him being guilty, McCrae was sentenced to life, but he did not live long after with very bad health. According to Pew Research Center last access June 2nd, 2021, more Americans actually favored than opposed the death penalty, with 60% of U.S. adults favored the death penalty for people convicted of murder, including 27% who strongly favor it. About 4 in 10, 39% oppose the death penalty, with 15% strongly opposed. According to new Pew Research survey. We are going to learn today about why Congress must take action to legalize the death penalty nationally. We will look at the problem, effects, and solution. The problem we have, and it's very serious, the death penalty is not nationally legal. According to independent.co UK, currently only 27 states have the death penalty legal, with those states being Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, North Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, South Dakota, and Tennessee, and Texas, and Utah, and Wyoming. Recently, one state actually recently just made it illegal for the death penalty, which I believe was Alaska. According to the deathpenaltyinfo.org, after a case in 1972 for Furman versus Georgia, seeing the death penalty as arbitrariness and a lot of racial discrimination. Because of this, over 629 death sentences were then suspended, and existing statutes were no longer valid, but the states didn't fully agree to this, with many deciding themselves to keep the death penalty and others getting rid of it. We know this is a huge problem, but have you ever thought of the negative effects about this? Three negative effects is justice for victims to keep general population safe, maintain prison population, and provide appropriate consequences for severe crimes. Many see it morally as a fair punishment to murder, but think of the horrendous crimes you have heard, like rape combined with murder. Serial killers continue to kill and get a slap on the wrist. Many say it's because of lack of evidence, but when these killers are let out and kill again, what happens to the families, and their lives are ruined and the people they love taken? As I said before, 60% of America see it as both in favor and morally right. These prisons are way too overcrowded, with at least calculated 41 states are currently operating at 75% of more of their capacity, with at least 9 of those state prison systems and federal bureau of the prisons still operating at more than 100%. Only one state, Maine, has a current prison population below 50% of their capacity. Prisons are full of many crimes, but somehow not accounted for with the severity of those crimes. To look back on the story I told you about John McCrae, how he mutilated those boys' bodies and had no remorse to how it affected many and gave no closure to the families. Those boys couldn't grow up while he had a family, a wife, a son, and a life as a prison guard out of everything. How would those families cope knowing this and knowing he had a life to live while those boys didn't have a chance? As you can see, the effects are important, and so now let's discuss the solution. There's a clear solution that Congress must pass a law to legalize the death penalty nationally. Congress must come to pass a bill/law to make the death penalty legalized throughout the United States and not just the 27 states that currently have it legal. The bill will have to go through a governmental process to be a success with the Senate and House approving it, and as well as the President. The crimes that will be put on trial for the death penalty with the severity of the crime, like for instance John McCrae, who was confirmed to be a serial killer with a target of young boys, or another good but horrible example, Ted Bundy, who indeed received the death penalty for his severe crimes against humanity. Today we learned about why Congress must take action to legalize the death penalty nationally. We looked at the problem, effects, and solution. Remember to what I said earlier, more Americans favor this death penalty at 60% US adults favor it. Only 27% strongly favor it, and about 4 and 10, which is 39%, oppose the death penalty, with 15% strongly opposing it. To think that even with the severity of John McCrae's crime, they still sought to give him immunity after the murders and another life sentence. He killed and admitted it with no remorse and did not have no consequences for what he did. He lived a comfortable life even if he did go to prison for 20 years, then was released and became a prison guard, a husband, and a father. I ask this to you, what would those boys be if they had the time to live, and if John McCrae was punished longer than those 20 years? What would their life be like, and how would the families be? Thank you.